Longing for the past has become trendy. Within the last few years, businesses have been busy feeding into the public's growing love for nostalgia. Disney has been reimagining their classic animated movies seemingly against everyone's will at this point. Toy companies are reviving their old IPs, brands like Bratz are making a comeback alongside Strawberry Shortcake, Yummyland dolls, Squinkies, Polly Pockets, Rainbow Bright dolls, and much more. Not to mention, Y2K fashion has been making a consistent comeback over the last few years. Thrifting secondhand and vintage clothing has become a popular hobby amongst millennials and Gen Z. It truly seems like the entire world is trying to grasp a piece of the past for themselves. Whether to heal their inner child or to make a quick buck, nostalgia is becoming a hot commodity. Although, the yearning for nostalgia is happening on a smaller scale as well. Us Gen Z are now creating many different aesthetics and cores to categorize our favorite childhood memories. TikTok videos titled Older Brother Core or Sticker Bomb are going viral on TikTok, causing some people to think Gen Z is manufacturing nostalgia and aesthetics just for some clout. In the rapidly growing business of hyper-specific aesthetics, design trends like Frutiger Aero are making an unexpected comeback.
Hello, I'm Redmond.
And I'm Blue Moon.
Yes, we're twins.
And to us and many others, Frutiger Aero is not just an early 2000s design trend that Gen Z nostalgified.
It's a hope-filled aesthetic that promised us a utopian future where we all live together harmoniously with the technology we created.
It may be hard to believe, but the story of Frutiger Aero's reappearance, its design elements, and its origin perfectly embody the world we as a society yearn to go back to.
Especially now, as AI is slowly creeping its way into seemingly every aspect of our lives.
With all that being said, are you ready to swim with the fishes in the sky and take a deep dive into the niche 2000s design trend known as Frutiger Aero?
You are?
Okay. Well, then let's get swimming! Sorry to all you Frutiger Aero connoisseurs out there, this part of the video might be a little bit of a recap for you, so strap in. I promise this entire video won't be a recap of shit you already know. I hate when video essays do that. It's so annoying. Yeah. But anyways. Frutiger Aero began in 2004 and lasted until 2013. Its name comes from the two most common design aspects seen in the aesthetic, the Frutiger family of fonts and Windows Aero, the design language of Windows Vista. Sophie Lee, a member of the Consumer Aesthetics Research Institute who is credited for being the first to identify and name the aesthetic, highlighted some of the most popular design elements in Frutiger Aero. It was often glassy, translucent, jelly-like, and glowing, including motifs such as bokehs, auroras, and globes, mixed with naturalistic elements like high-definition photos of plants and animals. From my research, one of the most popular animals in Frutiger Aero design is fish. Fish. Which makes sense to me because they mesh perfectly with water and water-like elements frequently used in the aesthetic. We've also noticed that green grass, picturesque blue skies, and crystal clear water are huge staples in this aesthetic. Some people won't even consider an image Frutiger Aero if it doesn't contain these three things. Colors associated with Frutiger Aero are white, light blues, and light greens. So if an image contains these three colors, it can still more often than not be classified as Frutiger Aero to some people. Although the most classic form of this aesthetic usually gives if the Windows home screen was suddenly turned into an aquarium filled with Bahama clear waters and rainbows. And some Frutiger Aero images feel strangely Pride-like to me due to the addition of rainbows and rainbow reflections. I personally think they did this to mimic the rainbow reflections DVDs give off in the sunlight, but I'm not really sure. That's just a theory of Frutiger Aero theory. Anyway, the most popular images of Frutiger Aero seen online today often originate from early 2000s phone, tablet, or computer interfaces, but it isn't just confined to technology. We joined a Frutiger Aero Facebook group for this video, and we've seen fans of this aesthetic extend its reach to specific objects, games, architecture, clothing, and much more. Unless you're this guy who's scrapping with everybody in the Facebook group, Frutiger Aero's reach is kind of subjective. Frutiger Aero's lasting effects can be seen today in anything from laundry detergents and frozen yogurt shops to music videos, games, and ads. I'm pretty sure everyone in the 2000s had or knew someone with a nautical themed bathroom complete with fish themed soap and a live aquarium lamp. I was so jealous of these bitches. I want a Frutiger Aero themed bathroom so badly. Our rich cousins had one growing up and I've been jealous my whole life. This bathroom is perfect for Frutiger Aero decorations. It's dying to be Frutiger Aero-fied. Come on, imagine if we thrifted pieces just for this bathroom. This bathroom's perfect for little fish. Come on. So yes, this aquatic design was a really common design trend at the time. But why did we as a society decide we wanted our technology to look wet and feel like an aquarium? This is a bad idea. Members of Gen Z who were responsible for repopularizing Frutiger Aero often use this aesthetic to reminisce on their childhoods. As members of Gen Z who were born in 2001, we basically grew up during the transition of phones being connected to wires to phones being connected to us at all times. So quite literally in our earliest memories on Earth, Frutiger Aero is there, subtly hiding in the background. For those of you who weren't there, each early 2000s home had a singular family computer, a singular family TV, and most of the time only adults had their own mobile phone since most people still use their home phones. We were around 8 years old when we got our first phone, and I say phone because we had a flip phone that we both shared. Yeah. Even things like Google Maps weren't widely used yet. Our mom still printed out paper directions until the late 2000s. Shout out to MapQuest for real. I remember our dad was even like ordered CDs from Netflix, and the CDs would come in the mail. Yeah, like he was an OG user. He was. Okay, we're gonna stop ranting. We're only 22. But we're talking like we should be checked into an old folks home. So let's shut the fuck up. Our point is, yes, Frutiger Aero began in 2004, which makes sense because that was around the time when technology was just beginning to creep its way into everyone's pockets, just like the lizard people intended. Okay, we're kidding. Imagine we just like kept going. We're like, next topic, lizard people. We got you. You're in a conspiracy theory video now. Just kidding. We don't believe in lizard people, Dad. I know you do. I'm sorry. This isn't what this video is about. No. Anyway, Sophie Lee speculated that companies adopted this style to give their more widely accessible technology a sense of approachability and friendliness. You know, so new consumers who are unfamiliar and somewhat hesitant to use it would feel a tad bit more comfortable. They're really like, see, it's not scary. Look, a fish lives here. He likes it.
Humans like fields. I read that somewhere. I think.
Frutiger Aero just has an overall sleek and clean vibe to it. Companies really made their interfaces super simple because they did not want their new consumers to feel overwhelmed by navigating a system they might not be used to yet. I personally love Frutiger Aero because it is sleek and simple, but not in the corporate my favorite color is gray vibes. You know, it had personality, pizzazz, razzmatazz even. Frutiger Aero was really a device used by companies to try and make their technology appear as natural to everyday life as nature itself. Personally, seeing Frutiger Aero really conjured up the idea that technology is here to serve you and help you. According to Laura Holliday, the writer of What is Frutiger Aero, the aesthetic taking over from Y2K, Frutiger Aero is a representation of an era where the arrival of smartphones was transforming the internet from something locked away in a computer room to a living and breathing entity all around us. It signified a subtle shift from the pessimistic outlook on futurism seen in the early 2000s to a more optimistic one. Frutiger Aero truly signified a breath of fresh air. No, literally, I want to breathe in this air. No, like, can I breathe in clean, untouched air from 2005, please? I think that would cure asthma. Doctor, I don't need my inhaler. Just give me a first-class ticket to wherever this is. Like, tap me in, coach, put me in the ring. Okay, with all that being said, Frutiger Aero was definitely a welcome change, especially since it was born after the Millennium Bug Crisis.
3, 2, 1, happy 2000!
Remember when we all thought the world was gonna end when we hit the year 2000? I remember since I was definitely alive and conscious during that time for sure.
There still exists a general state of either denial, complacency, or even apathy about both the reality and the potential effects of Y2K.
For those of you who weren't there, unlike ourselves, the fear of technology back then was different from the fear we have now about technology taking over. People were scared for the future because they straight up thought there would be no future. You see, the term Y2K was born in the 1990s when a percentage of the population about to enter the year 2000 believed a bug in computer programs which process states would glitch, leading to the paralysis of global infrastructure. Fun fact, the Y in Y2K represents year, while the K represents the Latin prefix kilo, meaning 1,000. So to refer to the year 2000, a man named David Eddy abbreviated the year 2 kilo to Y2K. In short, Y2K just means year 2000, although for a time the word Y2K was synonymous with computer programming until Y2K was eventually extended to describe visual culture. Nowadays, the Y2K aesthetic not only refers to clothing designs, product designs, games, music genres, and visual effects, but the hundreds of subgenres associated with them, such as Frutiger Aero.
Okay, so we know what the word Y2K means and how it came about. But why is Frutiger Aero so synonymous with the Y2K aesthetic today?
Well, like with any retro resurgence, it's due to nostalgia. A classic argument made by most of the older generations when it comes to Gen Z creating aesthetics for nostalgia is the sentiment of, why do we need to categorize every little thing? Like, why does everything need to be an aesthetic or a core? And in my humble opinion, shut the fuck up! I mean, labels are really really just there to make your lived experience feel valid. In the case of nostalgia-themed terms, it's really just fucking comforting. An aesthetic like older brother core reminds you that you're not alone in remembering something so specific so fondly. Like, seriously, why be mad at it? This is directed at all the people that were dragging me for weeks on my older brother core TikTok. Like, it's not that fucking deep. Like, it is that deep, but it's not that fucking deep. Well, you need to be that pressed about it. Like, calm down. Without the term, you wouldn't be able to place your feelings anywhere or have quick access to images and videos that exemplify them. Not to mention, these labels often build communities of like-minded people who potentially live through your same hyper-specific life experiences, which is just so cool to me. Honestly, I think Gen Z's obsession with aesthetics and nostalgia often gets a bad rap. I truly believe nostalgia is a useful tool that can help us construct the future we desire. Looking into the past at things that brought you joy shouldn't be looked at with such a get over an attitude. For us Gen Z, it's like free fucking therapy. Like, come on, I'm down for anything that romanticizes life and makes it a little bit easier to live. I've seen the quote, "Nostalgia is just proof that life is worth living," floating around the internet for a while, and I just think that quote's so beautiful. Like, being happy about your past experiences, even down to a hyper-specific level, is just so wholesome to us. It really reminds you to be like grateful for the little things in life, even the little things you might have forgotten about. Anyways, let's talk about the history and meaning of nostalgia a little bit. Svetlana Boym, the author of The Future of Nostalgia, reviews the origins of the word nostalgia in her 88-page study. Nostalgia comes from the combination of the Greek word nostos, meaning the return to home, and algia, meaning longing. It was termed by Swiss doctor Johannes Hofer when describing the symptoms of a miserable soldier during wartime longing to go home. He believed nostalgia was a disease akin to the common cold, which could be cured with opium, leeches, or a trip to the Swiss Alps. His patients would then develop a nostalgia for the Swiss Alps, the feeling of leeches on their skin, and an addiction to opium. You mean a nostalgia for opium, right? Oh, right, yeah. Okay, just kidding. We're kidding. I don't know what happened to his patients, so. Anyway, Boym suggests the modern use of the word nostalgia relates to mourning for a place we can't go back to, which I think perfectly encapsulates why a lot of people love Frutiger Aero and exploring Y2K aesthetics. Like this commenter explains, to a lot of us Gen Z, the early 2000s feels like a strange dream we can't quite remember. The 2000s to us were only visible through a childlike lens, and alongside the haziness of our photos, it's not that hard to see why categorizing and making nostalgia-based aesthetics is so important to us. It's like we're trying to make sense of a fuzzy dream we can't quite remember and can't ever go back to. One of my favorite quotes about nostalgia is actually one I read recently in a fanfiction. Yeah, I know, don't come for me, okay? But it went something like this. A character is thinking about their childhood, and another character asked, "Hey, why are you smiling and crying at the same time?" And they answered, "Well, that's nostalgia, dear." And what the fuck, that's so poetic. Yes, it was a has-been fic, if you must know. But I think that sums up nostalgia perfectly. It's not just about longing and mourning, it's about being grateful that you lived. It's about happiness. Boym goes on to explain that there are actually two types of nostalgia, one leading into the nostos and the other into the algia. The reflective algia nostalgia is not only about individual nostalgia, but cultural nostalgia as well. Algia is about piecing together the past and transforming it by producing art and literature which encapsulates it. These days, those obsessed with Future-ger Aero try to piece together the past by putting together 30-minute long slideshows of Future-ger Aero images on YouTube, archiving images on Pinterest, and collecting Future-ger Aero styled items. Some people even attempt to reconstruct Future-ger Aero through photography, collage, and art. Like us right now making this video. The restorative nostos, in contrast, is about the national past and future. It focuses on reconstructing monuments of the past in search of truth, such as reconstructing the Sistine Chapel. Or like making a 30-minute long YouTube video about a past design trend to search for comfort and a way to navigate the unknown future of technology. Perhaps we are longing for a future that felt tangible at the time, but one that never came. In some ways, Future-ger Aero feels like the last beacon of a lost age, the final days before omniscient tech truly dominated our lives. Okay, a little dramatic, Harry, but we feel you. We as Gen Z, we want technology. Of course we do. Oh god, we've literally never known a world without it. But the hopeful future we were promised growing up with Future-ger Aero is quickly being demolished by the rise of AI. As many of you know, the past few years have been defined by multiple different strikes across the entertainment industry, such as the writer's strike, the actor's strike, and most recently, the animation strike. With a lot of these strikes pushing back against companies attempting to use AI to replace their workers so they don't have to pay them fair wages. Voice actors are having their voices stolen without their consent, and writers are being replaced with AI bots who can write scripts. Not to mention us artists, whose work is often stolen and used by AI to create uncanny images that more often than not are used to steal our jobs. Some people are even trying to use AI to completely write, animate, and act out entire movies. Although it's arguably pretty bad right now and no one's watching that stuff, who knows where we'll go from here. Many people are already doing unspeakable and immoral things with AI, and it's truly terrifying to think about. We realize AI is a developing technology with little to no restrictions on it yet, so it's hard to judge so soon. But as recent animation and illustration graduates ourselves, we can admit it's hard to keep a positive outlook on rapidly developing technology that is marketed as good and helpful to humanity when they're actively hurting those around us and straight up taking our jobs. I thought AI was supposed to do the things humans didn't want to do, like work in factories or something. Right? Like, storytelling and art is such a key piece to humanity. Like, AI simply can't replicate a human's lived experiences and their complex thoughts perfectly. And especially it can't replicate, like, the art that comes from those things. In a strange way, our generation just feels lied to. Like, technology should serve humanity, not work against it. Frutiger Aero depicted our future with technology as a symbiotic relationship, something that we can live in harmony with, like nature. I think Frutiger Aero serves as a nice reminder that we have the power over our own creation, and if we stick together, we can use technology to the benefit of all of humanity. And not just to the benefit of the pockets of a select few greedy individuals and corporations. We know we can't go back to the way things were. Svetlana Boym defines nostalgia as something that can only exist in a long-distance relationship as a whole. It's a sentiment of loss and displacement, but at the same time, a romance with one's own fantasy. Nostalgia is a defense mechanism to life and the refusal to surrender to the irreversibility of time. We know we can't replicate the past, but we can move forward with the ideas that Frutiger Aero presents to us. We don't have to accept a world where technology takes over and makes all of us fucking miserable. Technology doesn't have to be cold and sterile, it can be playful and fun. We can swim with the fishies in the sky. Okay, but seriously, you might think we're reading too much into this, but design plays a big part in the public's perception of a product. You know, it's kind of like how every single AI service right now is using the sparkle emoji to just kind of symbolize their services are like magic and they just poof things into existence. You know, the images they're coming up with aren't compilations of stolen artwork that they then turn into the images they're spitting out and giving to you. It's just like magic, it comes from nowhere. Yeah, the scripts they're making aren't like stolen from other people's scripts and made into like one other script. Like, come on. Like, honestly, why doesn't AI use like that, do you know that meme format with the wizards? Like, why doesn't AI use like the wizard thing? Like, I'd be more like convinced that way, you know? Like, they're still sleek and corporate and they're just like, it's like magic. It's like, no, like, fully lean into the magic. Like if you're gonna wizards. Yeah, if you're gonna try convincing me this shit's magic, like, do wizards. Yeah, like, lean into this, do this. Yeah, please. That'd be way better. Just like when I click on an AI generator, like, I want it to be wizard themed. Yeah. Like, is that not hard to ask? Make it a little more mythical and fun, please. Like, if you're gonna fucking scam me and lie to me, like, come on now. Like it or not, design is a mirror of the desires of the public that it's catered to, which makes it inherently political, even if that political message isn't consciously realized. Aesthetics don't just come out of nowhere and from nothing, they come from the lived experience of humanity. Fun fact, 80s Vaporwave was made to critique hyper-consumerism, just like how Frutiger Aero was created in part as a response to pessimistic futurism. Okay, we know covering our phones in pictures of aquarium-filled fields isn't gonna solve our ever-growing problem with AI, but it can help unite us all under a shared goal of returning to simpler and more hopeful times. Maybe we just need to click restart with our water-filled computer mouses and retry this whole AI thing again. Or at least until we put, like, regulations on AI, so support unions, guys. It's gonna be a long and never-ending fight, unfortunately. In short, Frutiger Aero is just an early 2000s aesthetic, although it allows those who are nostalgic enough to look back at it a way to escape to a world they can't physically return to anymore. It represents the hopefulness we as a generation yearn to feel for the future again. It also represents the fun and experimental design aspects of the early 2000s, the primal stages of technology, and the very core of what technology was supposed to be. It was truly the blueprint for the future that never came. It's almost poetic that a design trend emerging from the hopefulness for the future of technology is coming back as a way for a new generation to feel that same hope for technology again, especially in a world where we are once again in the early stages of a new and rapidly developing technology that could once again change our lives forever. Philosopher Jacques Derrida coined the term hauntology in 1933. The idea that the era in which we live in is not an entity but a hauntology formed by the overlapping of the past and the future. Basically, we live in the context of all in which we live and what came before us. We didn't just fall from a damn coconut tree, you know? Frutiger Aero is not just representing the past, but the present-day feelings of many young people like ourselves.
I just wanna be part of you.
Let's call it Future-ger Aero now. Okay, we're kidding. Or we could call it what our friend calls it, and they call it Frutiger Aero, like a record scratch. Aero, or a dog. Aero. I don't even call it Frutiger Aero. I just call it Aero. We were holding back calling it that this entire video. I was like Future-ger. I mean Aero. Yeah. Shout out to our friend. I know you're watching this. It's always Aero to me. Okay. Aero in our hearts forever, ever. You know, forever, ever. Forever, ever in our hearts forever, you know? Okay, in all seriousness, man, tech can be scary, but it can also be fun if we use it right. Let's stand with creatives and put a foot down on AI so we can, like, I don't know, frolic in digital fields together or something, I don't know. And also, if you hate on Gen Z for over-consuming hyper-specific aesthetics, get over it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Every view we get on this video helps us get closer to having our Frutiger Aero themed bathroom that we really, really fucking want. Like, a lot. If you want to sink deeper into the giant proverbial nostalgic ocean that is hyper-specific 2000s aesthetics, feel free to click on this link up here in which we made a YouTube video, like, highlighting our favorite obscure year 2000 fucking aesthetics. Watch it, please. But with all that being said, just remember to do is to expand your imagination and to create a reality. Anything is possible and things don't have to make sense. See you in our next video. And yes, we did go to Cabela's for all the dead animals. We don't own that many dead animals. It was an hour drive, but it was worth it. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. We had to commit to the bit. Anyways, bye.
God, what's up?